What up, beautiful people? Listen, we about to have a hard conversation, okay? But first, let me pull this up, because, child, it's hot. And this conversation is going to be heated. So, let me just go on and pull my hair up now, because, baby, this about to be a fight. We about to have a fight. Listen, this is for a lot of my church leaders, really, because y'all going to have to get your flock. You going to have to get your flock because you done led your flock in the wrong direction. We ain't gonna worry about that because it's up. I'm hot. You're gonna have to get your flock because you are leading them in the wrong way. So, okay, the LGBT community is under attack a lot. Always has been, right? So let's talk about it because you guys like to use this book as your reasoning for damning them to hell. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it because you have no idea what you're doing, and this is why you ain't Jesus. Because you don't know judgment. You don't have discernment. You don't know what you're judging, and not only that, you don't even use your own mind to understand this book. See, half of y'all don't read it because you don't know what it's talking about. You can't understand it, and this is why you go to church for someone who went to school to teach you the mindset of someone previously before them. See, that's what information is. Someone else's thoughts. See, this book came after Christ. It didn't come before Christ. It came after Christ. Now, when Christ came, what did he say? Christ said, love thy neighbor. That's the most important thing that you need to do. Now, in this same book, it says that if you can't love your brother, baby, you can't walk with Christ, okay? If you are walking with hate in your heart for the next human being, you ain't walking with Christ. Now, let's talk about that. So many always want to judge that homosexuals for their lifestyle, their choices, but don't take a good look at yourselves in the mirror. Let's talk about that because y'all getting on my nerves. I'm going to be honest. And it's heartbreaking to see y'all attack people and attack people who support other people and just want to love them and be there for them and not bring them negativity. But here you come with your spirit of judgment and not understanding what your judgment, and stop speaking in God's name because you don't know what God thinks of those people. You only know what your church thinks of those people. And if we're going to be honest about the church, let's talk about it, because for centuries, the church has participated in homosexual activities all the way back to the Roman Catholic Church. Understand? They was getting down with men. Okay? Not only that, they were having children out of wedlock and then damning the women to hell for carrying their bastard child. If we gonna talk like that, let's understand what we talking about. See, some of y'all are walking around damning folks to hell because they decide to be in a same-sex relationship, but your spouse is out here cheating. Now, that's against the Ten Commandments, right? You out here being participating in infidelity while you married, and that's against the Ten Commandments, right? But not only that, y'all want to talk about sin. See, homosexuality ain't even in the Ten Commandments. But cheating in your relationship is. Stepping out on your spouse is. That's in there. So when we talk about things in the Bible, it says that you ain't supposed to be drunk, but y'all on TikTok, y'all on Instagram, priding yourselves in day drinking and getting drunk, and your husband gotta come pick you up, or your homeboy gotta come pick you up off the floor. But Jesus also said, baby, if they want to get drunk off the wine, let them. And so people don't come up to you while you throwing back them mimosas and them margaritas saying you need to be in Alcoholics Anonymous. No, they don't. They let you drink your margarita and your mimosas, and they let you get drunk. Okay? Gluttony is a sin, and let me tell you something. America is one of the most obese countries there is. So y'all rolling with your little spirit of Jesus, and you're only concentrating on one thing because you don't want to concentrate on yourself. See, in order to love thy neighbor like you love yourself, you got to love yourself first. And a lot of y'all don't love yourself, and that's why you can't love your neighbor. How you overweight telling people they going to go to hell for being a homosexual when you overeat? Think about that. Now let's talk about it. Let's talk about these religious leaders need to get your flock because you done led them in the wrong direction. And half of y'all don't even know what's in the Bible because you won't open it up and read it for yourself and understand what the Bible is. A Bible is just people's stories from what they recount from that time period, and it's been passed down and passed down, okay? And things have been removed from the Bible. Let's not forget that as well. So when Christ came and said the number one thing you need to concentrate on is loving your neighbor like you love yourself. And the way that y'all are carrying yourselves says that you don't love yourself. So how are you loving your neighbor? But you want to walk up to people while they minding their own business and say, I got kids, we got kids, my kids don't need to see that. Your kids don't need to see your husband being an adulterer, but they do. Your kids don't need to see you being drunk, but they do. So before you go out here judging other folks, take a good look at yourself. Before you damn somebody to hell, look at the hell that you're already in. Because y'all ain't holy rollers. You got kids out of wedlock. You ain't talking about that. And this is why you were being given a second chance. Because there's a lot of things that you don't understand. And just y'all want to go to the old commandments when it benefits you. When the New Testament says the number one thing you need to do is concentrate on you. And you're not doing it. You're not taking a look at your own iniquities. And most of y'all had homosexual thoughts. Because people are beautiful. So I know you done seen somebody of the same sex and thought that they were beautiful. Now, some people act on it and some people don't because that's their business. But you judging them will not get you to where you're trying to go. And that's why in the Bible, it ain't that many people that they say gonna make it all the way up to the upper room. There is levels to heaven and hell, and that's what your church needs to teach you. Now, you talk about homosexuality, baby. Homosexuality is older than this Bible. But that is the only thing that y'all want to concentrate on because you think because you ain't a homosexual, you going to heaven. Lies you tell yourself. That is the lie that you tell yourself. Now, when we talk about this Bible, understand y'all killed Christ. You killed him, you ate his body and drunk his blood, and that's a ritual. Now, when people say that, you want to say, oh, that's metaphorical. Is it? Is it metaphorical, or is that what they really did? Because if somebody presented you with flesh, someone's flesh, and say, this is the body of Christ and the blood of Christ, eat it. Are you going to eat it and drink it? Be logical. Are you? Now, talk about this. Now, before Jesus was crucified, Jesus said, y'all going to fall for the false prophet. In the Revelations, it says that God knows the house of Satan, these synagogues of Satan. And he's talking about the church. He's talking about your church. He's talking about your religious leaders leading the flock astray because you don't know what you're talking about. This is why you don't read it for yourself because you can't interpret it. You can't understand it. And so you go and you sit your butt in the church house and listen and pay somebody to interpret a message for you that they have to go to school to learn how to interpret that was interpreted off of someone else's interpretation. This is why I say know yourself. Know yourself. Now, let's go back. So we're talking about the Bible. Let's talk about the story with the woman and the 2 men and the stones. And what did Jesus say? You out here casting stones. You want to stone the woman to death, but let the 2 men who participated in the same activities with her go freely without judgment. But you only want to judge one in the situation. And what did he say? That ain't right. You religious leaders need to sit down and be honest with your flock about their behavior and how they carry themselves. See, all y'all want to do is talk about, oh, it's a hater out here, it's a hater, and get people riled up. And yeah, they hating on us. Ooh, we so holy and we just waiting for the kingdom come, thou will be done. Sit down. Sit down. Because you need to take a look at yourself and what you're doing. You ain't nourishing your neighbor. You ain't clothing your neighbor. You ain't giving your neighbor somewhere to sleep. Look at the homeless rate in this country. Look at the famine in this country. How many people go to bed hungry? You are supposed to be loving on one another, and you don't. Because you believe that you have the authority to judge those that you feel you are superior to, and that's ego. So when we talk about it, let's talk about it. Because before Christ died, he said, you guys are going to fall for the false prophet. And you did. You're sitting in the house of Satan. And you're out here acting like devils. See, because if all of y'all are Jesus, why the world so jacked up? Why is there so much violence? Why is there so many people hungry? Why are so many people being trespassed? See, when you sit there and you want to say, oh, my kids are out here and they don't need to see. See, you need to teach your kids that people are different. And that you need to teach them to respect people's differences. And you need to teach them that when you see someone down and out, you don't kick them. You help pick them up. You offer a helping hand. But y'all don't do that. Because you like to say, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. So which one is it? You turning the cheek to those in need, but turning the other cheek to judge those that you feel their deeds are sinful without looking at your own iniquities, without looking at your gluttony, without looking at your jealousy. You walking around with envy in your heart, jealousy. You over here sleeping with people's husbands and wives, and that's against the 10 Commandments. You out here saying, oh, we support blue lives when they're killing people. Murder is against the 10 Commandments. So how are you picking and choosing what you're going to judge when you do not have the authority to judge in God's name? Because you don't know what you're judging, because you don't understand nothing yourselves. And you pastors, you preachers, you people need to come clean and be honest with your flock, because you're leading them straight to hell. You are leading them straight to hell because you don't know what you're talking about. Stop walking around here being disrespectful. Like you ain't got no manners, no home training, because some of y'all ain't got no home training. I seen a video with 2 teenagers and a woman just gonna come up to them and sit down and tell them how God is judging them for their lifestyle. Are you Christ? Are you Jesus? But you was over there drunk, right? You over there drunk off the wine. You over there overeating. You over there being jealous. You over there being envious. You over there being a side chick and a side dude. You over there looking for somebody to creep with because y'all ain't being faithful in these marriages. But y'all don't want to talk about that. You want to run out and get vaccines because they offering donuts. They offering beer. But you ain't talking about that. You ain't talking about how church has been molesting children. You're not talking about that. Matter of fact, you're not talking about the generational molestation in your own family. Those are the things that you need to be discussing and addressing. Not what two consenting adults choose to do with their life. Because if they know themselves, then they're not sinning. If you are being true to yourself, you are not sinning. But y'all don't talk about that. See, most of y'all ain't going to be able to get out of hell because you won't admit why you're there in the first place. Because you're too busy judging someone else's household that you ain't took time to fix yourself. Because y'all think y'all perfect. Understand they killed Jesus and then they gave you the Bible. The same Roman Catholic Church and all that, and Constantine and all those people that helped you put a book together is the same people that murdered the Messiah. Because they did not like the message that the Messiah was preaching. And understand that the Messiah was preaching that you needed feminine energy. That you needed to embrace the woman. And see, we're not talking about how so many of you are misogynistic, and that's the problem. Oh, so let's talk about when Jesus washed the feet, because he said, I am not above you, I am with you. The same thing that I did is the same thing that you can do, and this is how you are reborn again to be a child of God. I'm not the only one that could be the child of God. You could be the child of God too. Let me tell you how. But y'all not talking about that. Because you don't know what you're talking about. Now in the Bible it says that you're going to sit in the house of Satan. And when the second coming comes, that God will tear down those houses because he knows exactly where they are. So why most of y'all going to church leaving just as empty as you walked in there, because the Spirit of God is not in there. Now let's talk about another thing. Jesus said, don't worship me because I am the same as you. So you're not supposed to be worshiping anybody but God. But you ain't talking about that. See, Jesus and God are not the same. The Son of God is not God. He's more of a deity. But you're quick to judge other people for praying to their deities without looking at yourself. See, y'all ain't gonna like this conversation, and that's cool. I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay is all y'all walking around with your spirit of judgment, having no idea what you're judging. See, your Son of God worked with murderers, worked with prostitutes, worked with people who were down, because he worked with the lower to bring them up to the higher. And what are you doing? You're sitting on your high horse, believing that you are better than everybody else because you didn't participate in the same sin while doing your own sinning. Y'all better sit down and reflect. You pastors better sit down and get your house together. Get your flock together. Got me spitting. Y'all done got on my nerves today. I hope y'all have a good day. And I hope that you get that spirit of judgment out of you. Because it's going to hold you down. Because you're over here trying to carry and worry about somebody else's sins, and you ain't looked at yourself in the mirror. Ain't none of us perfect. We all done sin. But how many of us are really asking for forgiveness and walking in redemption? Y'all want to go and cry at the altar and like you asking for a second chance just to leave that house and do the same damn thing you was doing before you walked in there, talking about God know my heart. God know the devil resides there. God knows the devil resides right there in your little funky heart. Trying to tell people they going to hell if they support people who are homosexual. If you support your day drinking, your night drinking, your alcoholism, you support the secrets of your family, you protect molesters, murderers, abusers. Y'all over there getting beat up by your spouse while getting cheated on. Then you go out and cheat too because you're lonely. But you better than somebody else? I think not. I think you better have a good look in the mirror and reflect on your own iniquities, because you cannot ascend with all that bull crap you carrying. Y'all have a good day.